I'm very thankful that I have my family and friends and my partner that all do a lot to support me, and they're all cheering me on from the sidelines. I probably wouldn't be as far as I had gotten without all their support. Sometimes I do take a little bit too much on, but I think that's part of my meaning to life, have a positive impact on others. I derive happiness out of that. I had a car accident in 2018. High-fived my face into a tree at about 70-80 kilometres and ended up with a shattered right femur, pelvis and 2 broken ribs and laceration above the right eye and a mild to moderate traumatic brain injury. My last memory before the accident is the night before, and then my next memory is waking up in Royal Melbourne Hospital. While I was in the hospital, my mum ended up making an album to kind of help with my memory, reminding me that I'm loved, and I think it was a bit of a therapy thing for her as well. It's also a record that I can go back to as well and be like, oh yeah, that happened. I used to say I was just more busy than I'd ever been in my life, but I was the most injured that I'd ever been in my life. I was having my physio, hydrotherapy, speech therapy. A neuroscientist was testing me to see how bad my TBI was, and had an occupational therapist that was trying to make sure that I could still cook for myself even though I was on 2 crutches. I planned a trip to the cat cafe. That was just to prove that I could be able to organise stuff for myself. Definitely decision making and maintaining attention and focus, especially with the studies, is very difficult. Memory retrieval is very difficult as well, and fatigue is a big one. I feel like a permanently exhausted pigeon nearly every day. But yeah, I push through that sort of thing. When I first started after my accident, I picked 2 units per semester. Unfortunately, midway through the first semester, I ended up having some anxiety issues. My occupational therapist was like, maybe you might need to drop back down to 1 unit. I'm quite a determined person, and it was a bit like, this is just annoying. But once I dropped that 1 unit, 3/4 of the stress was gone. And then the second year, I put it back up to 2 and I could handle that. Chuck, here's my rock. I actually got him a couple of weeks before my car accident, and all of a sudden I was gone for 3 months. Usually sit next to me, sleeping while I'm studying. He's my white shadow. He's just always been there by my side. In the morning, I'll do a guided mindfulness meditation, get my focus and get me on track. So I have my coffee, sit in front of the computer, and while I'm watching the lecture, I'll take notes, print out slides, so then I've got pictures to put in with my notes, and that helps with the visual memory. I got sticky notes everywhere. To-do lists keep me on track, and especially when you've got an assessment task due as well. You break it down into little pieces, so then you get more ticks and it makes you feel a bit better. We look fine, we look normal, don't look disabled. We do have quite a few challenges, whether they're psychological, physical and emotional. There can be quite a range, especially cognitive issues like memory and stuff like that is quite difficult. So when it came to year 2 units, I was doing 2 units per semester, and I was having to study 5 to 6 days a week for about 8 to 10 hours a day. But now that I'm in the 3rd year units, it's 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, just to keep up. By the end of the semester, I'm still 2 or 3 weeks behind in the content. It's a pretty full-on job for not being paid. I think I've inherited my determination from my father, and I think that's just the drive that's been able to get me through. Guide Falls has always been a big part of my life. It's kind of a happy place. Forest bathing is being mindful, thinking about the sun on your face or the wind on your face, feeling your body movements and being aware. It can be quite beneficial in de-stressing and relieving depression. The goal at the end of this degree is to get into being a researcher that will look into non-pharmacological therapies for people with TBI to improve their lives. Things like art therapy, music therapy, and trying to show the evidence for other practitioners out there that it does work. I'm helping wherever I can, whenever I can.